In this podcast episode, Maya Shankar explores the complexities and emotional challenges associated with unexpected and unwanted change. Drawing from her personal experiences and extensive research as a cognitive scientist, Maya discusses why humans struggle with uncertainty, how beliefs shape our reality, the psychological processes behind navigating change, and practical strategies to foster resilience. Their conversation delves into themes such as cognitive biases, moral elevation, the power of stories, self-identity, and mental health techniques designed to help people reframe their experiences and find meaning on the other side of life's disruptions. Maya begins by explaining that many of us struggle deeply with changes that are unexpected and unwanted because they are inherently tied to uncertainty, which our brains are biologically wired to resist. She highlights research showing people experience more stress facing ambiguous threats than certain negative outcomes, indicating that uncertainty itself triggers anxiety. This discomfort leads to rumination, overplanning, and a fear of losing control. Maya and the host note that this mindset creates difficulty in embracing the unknown and underscores the common human desire to know how stories will end. The discussion pivots to how some professions, such as general practitioners, may develop a better tolerance for uncertainty by necessity, since they often work with incomplete information compared to specialists who have access to more diagnostic tools. Maya suggests that tolerance for uncertainty is a muscle that can be strengthened over time. The goal of her work and writing is to help people live more comfortably alongside uncertainty, increasing resilience regardless of their natural disposition toward cognitive closure, the desire for definitive answers. Maya identifies openness to new possibilities as a key differentiator in how well people navigate change. Those less fixated on cognitive closure can better accept the gray space that often follows a significant life upheaval. She emphasizes that while personality traits play a role, mindset shifts can profoundly influence one's ability to cope. Recognizing that change leads to internal transformation allows individuals to see themselves not as fixed entities, but as evolving beings shaped by their experiences. One cognitive bias Maya discusses is the end of history illusion, which causes people to underestimate future personal change. Despite acknowledging that who they are today differs from their past selves, individuals often believe they have become the person they will remain for life. This bias limits the imagination of self-transformation, but underestimates the ongoing growth catalyzed especially by profound changes. Maya's thesis is that unexpected upheavals accelerate these internal shifts, revealing hidden beliefs, strengths, and perspectives. A significant portion of the conversation centers on how our deeply held beliefs shape how we interpret change and reality itself. Many beliefs, often formed in childhood and influenced subconsciously by caregivers, culture, and social messaging, go unexamined and can become limiting or inaccurate. Change, particularly disruptive change, can serve as a revealing moment that forces us to question and reassess these beliefs. Maya uses the story of Ingrid, who after an episode of amnesia was able to shed shame tied to her indigenous heritage, illustrating how confronting and reevaluating beliefs can lead to liberation. They explore the idea that change can act as a form of revelation, akin to its Greek etymology, apocalypsis, which means unveiling or uncovering. Traumatic or unexpected events often feel like an apocalypse, but also expose hidden aspects of ourselves or our circumstances. By revealing buried narratives and emotional burdens, change offers the opportunity to reconstruct identity with greater awareness and freedom from obsolete or harmful beliefs. The host shares his experience, encouraging his children to view situations as having multiple interpretations. He emphasizes how cultivating the ability to see alternate perspectives from a young age builds psychological flexibility invaluable during change. Maya praises this approach, noting that society often discourages such flexibility by demanding clear-cut answers early in life. Developing openness and willingness to question assumptions supports resilience and enables people to engage with the unknown in adaptive ways. Maya reveals how writing the book and interviewing people shaped her own understanding of change. Despite prior experiences of loss and injury, she was unprepared for the personally devastating challenge of struggling to start a family. The process of gathering stories and applying their lessons during her own crisis led to transformative growth, highlighting that evolving self-identity amid adversity is both possible and common. She also reflects on how anchoring self-worth to external achievements, like her early path as a violinist, can create vulnerability when those pursuits are lost. The conversation touches on the illusion of control, where individuals believe effort alone can overcome obstacles. Maya recounts how her experience with fertility challenges forced her to confront the limits of her control and learn acceptance. The host shares his story about his father's illness and passing, describing an initial insistence on managing all aspects of care, followed by the realization that some events are beyond control. Both relate how loss compels a recalibration of control beliefs and self-understanding. The host reflects on how his interpretation of his father's death has evolved over the years, moving from acute pain to recognizing it as a gift that shaped his life and career. Maya affirms that our relationship with life events is an ongoing dialogue shaped by time, perspective shifts, and internal change. This dynamic process allows for healing and reframing, offering hope that even deeply painful experiences can attain new meaning. Maya emphasizes a universal aspect of human psychology that transcends the specific nature of individual challenges. Whether facing illness, betrayal, loss, or other hardships, the emotional experiences and psychological processes are remarkably similar. As a result, lessons and tools drawn from diverse stories can resonate widely. This shared psychology enables empathy and connection, especially vital in times of social division and personal isolation. A powerful theme Maya introduces is moral elevation, the uplifting feeling inspired by witnessing acts of extraordinary character, such as courage, kindness, resilience, or forgiveness. Moral elevation not only makes observers feel good, but rewires the brain in ways that expand their imagination about who they can become. She illustrates this with the story of Dwayne, a young man incarcerated as a teenager who encountered a mentor embodying noble qualities. This encounter reshaped Dwayne's identity and future, ultimately helping him become a celebrated poet and legal scholar. Maya notes that moral elevation is not limited to grand heroic acts. Everyday kindness and integrity offer accessible sources of inspiration. Witnessing such moments can encourage us to cultivate similar traits and push the boundaries of what we believe is possible for ourselves. The host shares a personal example of witnessing forgiveness in the aftermath of tragedy, which deepened his own capacity for compassion and patience. Fiction and storytelling also function as psychological laboratories, allowing people to safely explore new ways of being and make changes in identity through imaginative engagement. A central challenge during unwanted change is rumination, repetitive, unproductive thinking stuck in spirals of worry or regret. Maya describes how rumination arises from our desire for clarity amid uncertainty, but instead deepens distress without solving problems. She recommends various science-backed strategies to break these cycles, including mental time travel to gain perspective on the transience of current worries, effect labeling to distance ourselves from consuming emotions, and adopting a third-person self-talk to increase self-compassion. Reframing narratives and seeking social support also help prevent loneliness, which fuels rumination. Maya shares a meaningful personal moment when, despite profound grief after miscarriage, her husband encouraged her to engage in a gratitude exercise, focusing on aspects of life untouched by loss. This self-affirmation helped her regain a sense of wholeness by recognizing untouched parts of her identity, breaking the tunnel vision that often accompanies major change. The exercise exemplifies how acknowledging the durability of multifaceted identity is critical for resilience and acceptance. A foundational insight Maya offers is the importance of grounding self-identity not in what we do or external roles, but in the underlying reasons, the why, that motivate our passions and actions. Using her transition from violinist to cognitive scientist and podcaster as an example, she explains that her core desire for deep human connection remains constant, even if the activities change. This approach helps maintain a durable identity that can weather disruptions and channel purpose into new avenues. Maya discusses how storytelling complements scientific insight by humanizing abstract concepts and enabling emotional connection. The narrative-first structure of her book and podcast allows readers and listeners to internalize psychological lessons through relatable personal journeys. These stories verify that change, while painful, often leads to growth and transformation. They also foster empathy by highlighting common emotional threads across diverse life experiences. The role of belief systems in coping with trauma and change is further explored through the lens of spirituality, religion, and personal narratives. Maya acknowledges that humans are natural storytellers who seek to create meaning to soften the blow of an often indifferent and unjust universe. For some, belief in a just world or a higher power supports radical acceptance. For others, scientific and psychological frameworks provide alternative paths to meaning. Respect for diverse coping mechanisms is affirmed. Throughout, Maya advocates shifting perceptions of change from something solely to endure toward an opportunity for reimagination and self-exploration. Change can reveal latent strengths, provoke critical questioning of unhelpful beliefs, and open possibilities previously unimagined. This perspective lays the groundwork for cultivating hope and agency even when external circumstances remain difficult or out of control. The host and Maya reflect on the importance of curiosity as a personal driver behind their work and life purpose. For Maya, curiosity fuels her podcast and research, enabling continual exploration of human psychology and connection. This intrinsic motivation sustains engagement and resilience even during challenging periods. The conversation emphasizes how aligning activities with core values and curiosities supports ongoing growth and fulfillment. The final sections discuss the pragmatic side of managing change, highlighting specific psychological techniques included in Maya's Change Survival Kit. These include cognitive reappraisal, psychological distancing, distraction, and adopting narrative shifts. Maya stresses the importance of experimentation in applying these strategies, noting that different tools work differently depending on the person and situation. The nuanced approach acknowledges the complexity of human experience. Maya closes by sharing how her relationship with the loss of becoming a parent has evolved. While the pain and grief remain, she has cultivated a hopeful and liberated version of herself, enriched by the unexpected personal growth her journey prompted. The story offers a message of transformation, that even when life diverts our plans, we can emerge whole and expanded with new meaning and purpose.